creativity first came into my life through music, through school.
I think the kind of creative influence for me came just kind of strangely from being an only child.
I remembered I'd filled in a form when I was still at school. I remember filling in that what I really wanted was to have a creative life.
My life has been two halves. I grew up believing I was an artist, but I sat in front of a machine when I was 10 that spat out a piece of paper that said I'd be an accountant, and for 9 years that's what I sort of half tried to be.
You know, I've been lucky with my success over the years, but I think one of the best early creative decisions was not to play music. I've never played a note of music in my life.
And even from quite a young age I was obsessed by pop culture and pop music and music generally.
It did sort of echo in my head that I'd chosen a creative life, which has a cost actually, because you have to give up things that are maybe less creative but maybe more grounding. So yeah.
I began to code in the evenings and at lunchtimes. Basically, I coded every day. And I sacrificed a great deal for that. I didn't watch TV, I didn't read books.
I thought, after a couple of months, I just thought, I'm actually quite good at this, and if I work hard and take it seriously, I think I can make a career out of it.
The creative process is very mysterious, and I'm not sure that I would ever be able to define it. It's got a huge amount for me to do with instinctive, almost as if you're kind of magnetised towards certain things and not repelled by others.
I was on a speaking tour in China. After I made Stephen Fry's work for Penguin, I made another piece for The Times. And I got to the end of my talk, and a girl stood up, and she said, "Where'd your ideas come from?" And the whole room went silent. I've never been asked that before until this moment, actually. And I said, it's two things. One of them is to put things together that have never been put together before. And great creativity is about that. You know, you look at the Surface devices, for example, the Surface Book, it's about a tablet and a laptop. It's putting things together. So again, in a lot of my work, that's what I try and do. And then I paused a little bit longer and I said, but you know what? Like, when I was a kid, I used to roam miles from my house, and I used to jump into rivers that were too deep for me, and I used to climb trees that I look at now and think, oh my God, I could have broken my leg. But I kept going because I believed I would reach the top. And I said, creativity is believing in yourself. It's believing in your idea. It's keeping on going, and it's not giving up.
I lecture on a music business degree course at the moment, and I think I learn just as much from the students as they learn from me, because they're bringing all these crazy and wacky ideas in there, and you go, no, you can't do that. And you go, oh, yeah, actually, I think you can.
Well, there's always elements of collaboration. So if that's with a particular artist, there will be a continuous collaboration leading up to the kind of final result. And the work should be considered, in my opinion, as in exactly the same category as fine art. You know, album covers and videos and photo shoots and all those kind of things, because they're as important. I think it's great that loads of people in the world own a piece of fine art because they own Sgt. Pepper or they own the White Album.
Even if I go out and shoot landscapes or in a garden or something, there is still a kind of a communication going on. There's a conversation in my head with me, myself, the camera and the object, and then there's also a kind of a clearing of the head in order to be able to see. The creative process is not easy. I don't think of it as something that just flows. I mean, sometimes you have to be very persistent, and you have to make a lot of wrong turns and fail quite a lot before you get to something that's really precious.
I think the way that technology, I think it has its advantage. It has many, many advantages and some disadvantages. The fact that you can do things quicker and easier.
Well, technology has played a massive part in my work because obviously when I began my career, people who did photography were inclined to be in lab coats almost, you know, and the whole processing and printing and that whole system was done by technicians.
It allows you to be able to, in essence, see the exhibition in a three-dimensional form before you put it together. Not necessarily just about putting works together, but thinking about things like sight lines and how it feels.
I am at the forefront of a movement in art and technology about our machines being partners in what we do. And I think across the industry we all have seen technology as a vital tool. And I think if I took Adobe or I took cameras or I took digital away from anyone making film, for example, they would feel that. But I think they'd still make film, even if they went back to 36mm or whatever it would be, right? But technology is a vital part of the way we work. It makes it easier and better.
And there's so much information out there, which is great, but you have to learn where that information is. You have to know how to harvest it and then analyse it and then filter it down and then apply it. And I think the beauty of technology is you can do that, and anyone could be an entrepreneur at the moment because of this technology.
Of course, there was a massive quantum leap to make around 1997 from film to digital. And for a while I was absolutely horrified. I mean, the cameras that I was given to test around that time were appalling. I mean, they had delay and they weren't shooting the moment, they were shooting several moments after the moment.
But what I see is a shift into machines becoming more like partners, and what are various interesting implications of that. And I do work with Adobe to bring that to life. So I build machines that allow people to paint, and then the machines create images, parrots or whatever they might be, photorealistic, very beautiful. But the machines can make mistakes. That doesn't happen. If your camera makes a mistake, you get angry and you go and get it replaced. When my machines make mistakes, I treat them for what they are. They're attempts at something brilliant, and it's a different way of thinking about AI and those tools.
I think with digital technology, music is more disposable now. There's pros and cons, but I think as we learn and adapt, and as the younger generation come through with their ideas and less of the old school attitude, especially within the music industry, I think that could be really exciting times. We think that there's 45, maybe 46 income streams out there for a musician or people connected within the music industry. You're not going to tap into all of them, but you can find 13, 15 of them and make a sustainable living out of it. And I think that's where it comes back to data and analytics of finding your audience.
It's hard to find your own path as a creative person, but that's what you have to do.
Going back, getting involved, kind of putting in some kind of background work. For me, that's what made me.
I think music has given me some of the most amazing, magical moments of my life, where hearing a piece recorded for the first time, working with bands, working with Johnny Marr, and just seeing sort of some of the magic there. I've been lucky where I've worked with a lot of big bands in my career, and when you have that payback, there's no better feeling as well. But it just doesn't stop there. Like, it gets your creative juices flowing, and it just inspires you to go on and do something just as great as what those people have created for you. So important.
I say this to say young photographers or interns coming who maybe want to photograph, say at Glastonbury, they won't get a pass for Glastonbury, but they might get one for their local event. And there might be some band playing up the road in a pub or a club or, the next town possibly, who really want their music to be heard, for example. And then that kind of collaboration could occur between the new image maker and the new musician to collaborate on something.
What I've learned about collaboration is that you have to be very giving with your ideas. You have to... we're in a room full of people making something beautiful now, right? It's not someone by themselves. That's how that works. So collaboration is critical.
Your mistakes are going to be more important than your success. With your success, it's like, okay, that's all right, let's keep doing that. But with your mistakes, what did we do wrong? How can we fix it? And how do we move forward with it? But have a vision, have a strategy, make mistakes would be my advice. There's definitely a collaborative community out there where people can work together and everyone succeed, really. I truly believe that.